today we will discuss about the cardiac cycle. What is cardiac cycle? With cardiac word is related with the heart, as you guys all know. So this is the cycle of the heart where the heartbeat is produced in one cycle from such of phases. So first of all, what is cardiac cycle? What is cycle? Cycle is basically a point, the point which is start, and after coming from the cycle, this line is coming on the same point. So this is the cycle, one complete cycle we are calling that. Okay, start from one point and come to initial point again, that is called the cardiac cycle. But in the actual definition, if you talk about, so that is a sequence of events occur in one heartbeat, sequence of events which mean stages that is occur in one heartbeat to another, that is called the, okay, the, you can say that the phases for the completion of the one heartbeat, we are calling that as a cardiac cycle. So for that, the cardiac, we are having two stages of the cardiac cycle. Number first stage we are having, that is basically called the diastolic phase, which means that this is also called the relaxation phase. How? Let's see. Relaxation phase. So as you guys all know, we are having four chambers in heart: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Okay, so here the blood is received by the atrium. Blood is received. Okay, as you guys all know, we are having the vena cava. In this phase, the blood is received in the chambers. So here, as you can see, here we are having the vena cava posterior and or superior and inferior, and here we are having the pulmonary vein. Okay, and so the basically the deoxygenated blood will move toward the right atrium, and from pulmonary vein, the blood will move to the left atrium. Okay, so these chambers are basically relaxed. Okay, and they are receiving the, this is receiving the deoxygenated blood, and pulmonary vein is receiving the oxygenated blood. Okay, so these chambers are basically, all the chambers are relaxed, and the blood is receiving to the right atrium, the left atrium. So we are calling that as the relaxation phase, as well as the blood is received into this phase. So there is no contraction in the chambers, no contraction. Okay, from vena cava and coronary vein, we are having the blood will move to the right atrium, which is deoxygenated blood, and after that the deoxygenated blood will move into the right ventricle. Okay, so we are having the pulmonary vein, which is taking the oxygenated blood to the left atrium. Okay, and that will also the both, so the this stage means, diastolic phase means that the both atrium will be filled with the blood. Okay, and the pressure will be generated. Okay, so the pressure will be generated in the both atriums. Okay, as compared to ventricle, there will be the less pressure, but in atriums there will be the more pressure because the blood is received. Okay, so the pressure will be generated by the muscles, or stretching will occur. So the muscles we are having, that is the myocardium muscles. Okay, so atrium walls will increase in size. Okay, so the atrium will be increase in size, their walls will be increase in size. So that's why the pressure will be generated by the walls. Okay, so this was the first stage. If we talk about the second stage we are having, that is basically called the systolic phase. We are also calling that as a contractive phase. This was the relaxation phase, where the all chambers will relax. Here the contractive phase, as you guys all know, the contractive word means the contraction, there will be no relaxation. Okay, so which means in this phase the contraction will be occur. So we are having okay, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Okay, so the right atrium and left atrium, they both will be contract because this is having deoxygen, but this will be oxygen, so that this both will be contract at the same time, okay. So from there is a valve that is tricuspid valve, and here we are having the mitral valve which is bicuspid valve. So these both valves will be getting relaxed, and the blood from this arterium will move toward the ventricle, so that this will contract and this chambers will get relaxed, and the blood will move toward the right ventricle and the left ventricle. So the ventricle here the ventricles will be relaxed, but the right atrium left atrium will be contract. Okay, this is basically a second phase, but this systolic phase is divided into the arterial systolic and the ventricle systolic. So this is the arterial systolic. If we talk about the ventricle systolic, so as you guys all know, in ventricle systolic we are having, so the ventricles has received this blood, okay. So here the ventricle will contract, here both ventricle will contract which has received the blood, ventricle will contract simultaneously, means the both, and this atrium will get relax. Okay, so blood will move here from the coronary artery and to the lungs, and here from the left ventricle we are having a valve, semilunar valve. These from this right ventricle we are having semilunar valve, and here the semilunar valve, both will get relaxed, and from this right ventricle the oxygenated blood will move to the coronary artery to the lungs, and from the left ventricle the blood will move toward the aorta and to the body parts. Okay, so this was the ventricle systolic phase, where the ventricle will contract and the atrium will get relaxed. Okay, so we are having the pulmonary artery, carotid artery, coronary artery, okay, aorta. So this was about the ventricle systolic phase. So this was about the cardiac cycle. So this process after all the stages is calling as a heartbeat. So this was the sequence of event which is occur these all stages. So after this stage there is a heartbeat is produced, that is one heartbeat that will be produced. Okay, diastolic and systolic are called heartbeat, you can say that. So heartbeat is produced in 0.8 second. One heartbeat is produced in the 8 second, and the event in the sequence we are calling that as a cardiac cycle. So this was about the cardiac cycle. In the next video we will discuss about the sound of heartbeat.